You don't even know what we're doing today for today's video, do you?
No, you haven't told me.
We've got some questions from you.
Yeah, and I don't even know the questions.
No, I don't either actually, because we've been quite busy. Ben's actually been at a sleepover last night. So he says that we shouldn't be calling it a sleepover at our age.
No, just stayed over at someone's house. Anywho.
How cute is Ben looking today with his Anywho t-shirt on? The first question is, how do you handle the heat? Being from the UK originally, is it hard sometimes to handle?
Yes, it's very
really
hard.
is.
I don't think you even need to just be from the UK. Like, I've got a lot of Australian friends and they do struggle with the heat as well.
Yeah.
You just need to make sure you stay in the shade as much as possible. Keep the aircon going if you can through the summer, really.
Yeah, I think that's it, is that we don't go out and sunbake. We stay in the shade and, you know, we're not wanting to go out in the real heat.
Yeah. And
you have to drink a lot.
if you can, make sure you've got a swimming pool so you can jump in that if you're overheating.
I think that's the thing actually, having lots of icy poles on hand, drinking a lot of water and jumping in the pool.
Yeah.
And coming to places like this, you know, when you go to the beach, it's very breezy. Sometimes it can get a bit much, but that's the same for everybody, whether you're from England or whether you're from Australia or, you know.
Anywhere.
Yeah. It feels hot for everybody. Okay, so next question. I don't know what that means. PLS.
Please.
Mountains or ocean?
So, what do you prefer, mountains or ocean?
Right, okay. So,
Please, can you tell me?
I like both. I love coming to the beach. The beach is beautiful, but also the mountains, you get the good views.
See, personally, I don't like the beach as much because I don't like the sand. I think it feels dirty.
Oh, I feel the opposite. I feel
you're all
cleansed.
Gritty, yeah, but then you're all gritty and you get in the car and your car's covered in sand. So I'd say I probably prefer the mountains more.
Oh.
I like the drive if you can do the off-roading bit.
Oh, no, what Ben means is he likes driving up a mountain, not that he enjoys walking up them.
Oh yeah, I don't know walking up them.
When you see views like this, you can't grumble, can you?
No, I think the beach is beautiful, especially like days like this, where the water's clear blue and it's beautiful colour. The beach would be lovely if you didn't have the sand.
What a whinging Pom! What's wraparound childcare like? Wraparound childcare?
I don't know what wraparound childcare is. Could we just quickly Google it?
I'm gonna put my glasses back on for a sec. So we just Googled what wraparound childcare means, and it looks like it means children with additional needs. If that's what you mean for additional needs, then I don't know, to be honest, because I mean, we've been asked about additional needs beforehand, and I feel that we didn't really answer them well enough because
You want to say so?
I've got my sunglasses on. I know, I can't see.
She told me not to wear mine. And
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to. I'm so sorry about the sunglasses. Just consider me the new Casey Neistat.
Oh, hang on, sorry, I'm going to have to do it.
Neistat?
Neistat.
Neistat.
Whatever.
Anywho.
Casey.
Just consider us the new Casey Neistat. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anywho, so with regards to childcare, I feel like we didn't answer. We've had this question about additional needs beforehand, and I don't feel we answered it well enough because we're not in the know. So what a lot of people who commented on that post made clear is that there's a NDIS scheme, which is basically the support scheme that helps people whose children or adults do have additional needs. So they're the people to contact regarding that. And there's always help out there for everybody. I guess it just depends what the needs are. It's hard for us to say. How was your first Christmas in Oz? I'm always with my family every year. First Christmas in Oz was actually a very good one. We had a group of friends who had emigrated at the same time as us, and we spent it with them. It was lots of fun. We went to the beach in the morning And then we had friends over to our house, which
Well-
we just moved into.
When Maz says we went to the beach, she went to the beach, I stayed cooking,
That's true.
as I do every year.
Yeah, so I went to the beach with the kids and Ben stayed at home cooking. And then we had friends came over.
Yeah, and we just had drinks, played in the garden and stuff like that, and just hung out and, yeah.
It was lots of fun.
And now we've been here a few years and had a few Christmases. We've now got our own sort of little tradition now.
Ben slaves away in the kitchen
Every year.
and I sit down watching movies and just hang out, really. It's great.
It is. We
Yeah,
do
we-
it as a buffet style now.
We do. We don't have a sit-down meal because it's too much food.
Yeah. So the kids just get to nibble and have whatever they want throughout the day.
What areas on Sunny Coast have bigger blocks and great public schools? So the bigger blocks, I guess, would be
More
in
rural.
the older estates. Well, it depends how big you're going. If you want acreage, then you move to the hinterland. If you want bigger blocks, as in like an old style of estate, then you would go to an older estate, like you'd go to Budrim or somewhere like that.
Some of
They-
the original ones.
Yeah, any newer blocks, they have any newer estates, they have smaller blocks of land. So if you go to a more established estate, then you'll find the slightly larger blocks.
I know Bridgend Springs, that's about 12 years old, and I'd say that's smaller blocks there. It's more of a
No,
modern-
they're still decent compared to, say, the Breeze. And with good schools, I have got to say I've not heard of any bad schools on the coast. They've all got very good reputations. How did your kids feel about leaving their school friends and how have they settled in Oz? It was only Lily that left school friends because the other two, Ella and Mia, were only 2 and 3 when we moved. So Lily was the only one, and Lily went with our lead. She didn't really have concerns because we told her what an adventure it would be for her. So she had a very positive attitude.
We timed it perfectly because it was just before the two little ones went to school, so they hadn't actually got a friends group yet. And Lily was just about to start going to high school. So she was going to probably leave a lot of her friends anyway.
The first school that she went to, she didn't find it as easy to settle in. So she moved school after about 5 months and thoroughly enjoyed it. She found her place. I would say that all 3 of the girls have settled very well. I mean,
Yeah.
we're coming up 7 years later now. So everything's gone very smoothly and they all have a great life here.
Yeah.
Why did you choose the Sunshine Coast? Right, I'm going to give you 2 answers to this. Firstly, I'm going to answer why we moved to the Sunshine Coast. And to be honest, it was just because of work. We initially wanted to move to the Gold Coast. But I'm now going to answer why we would move to the Sunshine Coast now. Because I think that now we would actually choose to live here. And I think that's partly because it's not so built up as other areas. There's still everything that we need locally, so we've not got to travel too far for anything. And the beaches are beautiful.
It is very, very chilled out here.
Good sales pitch for the Sunny Coast. How did you find the right school for your girls and what are the fees like, etc.? Well, there's catchment areas for the schools, and so regarding where you live, kind of decides which school your kids go to. The other part of it, fees, we don't pay tuition fees here. The only thing we pay for is a school resource fee, which covers incursions and a few other bits, certain resources that they have within the school. And the other thing is we pay for their stationery. That varies depending on what state. In other states, you might have to pay, depending on what visa you're on, you might have to pay for some of the tuition fees. So you would need to, if you're someone who's moving, you need to double check what state you're moving to, what visa you're on will make a difference as to whether you have to pay for school fees. Mentally being so far from home, how do you manage? 15 hours plus and dollars for flights back. We've always kept spare money.
We always said if there was ever like an emergency, like when we had to go back because of my mum,
Yeah.
we had the money and we was able to do it straight away. and didn't even need to worry about anything and take any sort of like hits on the way back.
Obviously, COVID changed that, but that's not something we could have planned for. Mentally, you have to have a plan in place, and I think that's what can help you, is that you know that if a situation occurs that you've already got it covered. So that's how mentally we deal with it, is by preempting it and having an action plan.
Always make sure you've got some money in the bank as that emergency flight.
I think as well, when emigrating, you always should have emergency money, because you're in a situation where things are a bit different and you can't call on other people for help. So it's pretty much essential as a someone who has emigrated that you have those funds available to you all the time. How much did Maz's online course cost and how long did it take? So I presume you're talking about the diploma that I got to move. Please bear in mind this is 8 years ago, so it's not current pricing. I think it was about $300, and it took me just over a year to complete. I could have done it a lot quicker, but I really struggled with...
A lot quicker.
Yeah, I could have done it a lot quicker, but I really struggled with my concentration. I'm not very good in that kind of environment. Doing those things online is not really a good thing for me. I'm much more of a doer than I am someone who will sit and waffle. What's the most annoying thing in day-to-day life in Australia that wasn't a thing in the UK? Oh.
No, really. Sometimes the heat if you're trying to do stuff.
The only thing that springs to mind is the distances. So having to drive a long way to get to things. That's probably the only thing. It's not something that we actually think is a problem. QLD house prices seem super expensive in relation to average salary. Average salary. Is this actually the case? The prices have shot up in the last couple of years and it has become very expensive. So I understand it would be harder for people to get onto the housing ladder that weren't already on it. What I would say is that if you do think it's too expensive, look a little bit further out. You know, go half an hour or 45 minutes out of the main areas, and then you might still find some properties that are a more affordable price.
A lot of people, when they first want to move here, they want to move on the beach, and obviously they are going to be very expensive.
I think all over the world the housing market has changed, and so probably Australia isn't very different in regards to that. Yeah. What visa to move there to live without doing farm work? My partner is a teacher. Well, I believe that teachers are on the occupation list for moving to Australia. We are not immigration agents, so we recommend you contact a MARA registered immigration agent, but I can well imagine that there would be a number of different options available to you as a teacher.
I think you only have to do the farm work if you're doing a
working holiday visa, yeah, and you want a second or third year.
Yeah, you want to extend it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a normal visa, you don't have to do the farm work.
How easy is it to move to Australia?
No.
It's not. Visas are a freaking nightmare, but it's just one of the sacrifices that you have to make to move to Australia.
And it's not even that. There's hard bits of that you've got up and leave your family and the things you know. That's a very hard thing to do as well.
It is. Totally underestimated by us.
It's something you've got to really, really want to do and sort of make sacrifices to do.
We moved to the Gold Coast in February. What do we need to sort first?
Bank
Flights.
accounts.
Yeah, flights, bank accounts.
A rental car. Definitely get one of those sorted out. Otherwise,
yeah,
you ain't going anywhere.
Find some accommodation for a short period when you first move. Your rental car. So, because when you get here, you'll need to get straight on finding long-term accommodation and also a car and all those things. So make sure you've got all of your short-term things ready. And when you first arrive as well, you want to get your Medicare sorted out.
Yes.
So house, Medicare, cars.
Bank accounts.
Yeah. You can start getting the bank account done now. You can open a bank account and then just go and show your passport when you arrive. One
thing I recommend to do, as soon as you get off that plane...
Are you pointing at people?
Yeah. First thing to do, as soon as you get off that plane, get a phone SIM.
Yes.
Don't be like us.
Do you know much about Toowoomba? There is a slim chance at a move there. It's about an hour inland, so an hour west of Brisbane. And I think it's quite a busy city, actually.
I think so. I think I've been through it a few times, but I can't remember it too much.
I've not actually travelled to Toowoomba, but I do know of it, and it's supposed to be a really lovely place to be.
Yeah,
And-
I always see it popping up on stuff.
And again, not too far away from Brisbane, which is great when you first arrive because it means that you're close to the airport for when you have visitors.
Yeah.
Next quizzy. Were you close to family before moving, and how did the children find having them so far away? We were very close to, well, we still are very close to our family, and we miss them terribly. Just get used to it. You know, FaceTime is a wonderful thing, and it means that you get to have those conversations, you get to see those faces. We certainly make a massive effort to keep in touch with family. The girls, Ella and Mia, didn't really realise they would still ask to go and raid Nan's biscuit tin on a daily basis, but they couldn't understand that Nan was now 10,000 miles away.
Yeah,
So
they
that-
didn't know where their biscuits were.
Yeah, they wanted their biscuits, actually. They loved their Nan, so, but they really enjoyed her biscuits too. Lily probably missed people a little bit more because she was 10, but she, again, was satisfied by phone calls.
Yeah, and once she got her friend group over here, it made it a lot easier because then she had other people to chat to.
What are the chances of having a snake or a spider in an apartment, say like the 20th floor? I wouldn't say the chances are very high. If you're in a built-up area and you keep your fly screens closed, you'll be right.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you'd be getting snakes up there because they wouldn't be able to press the button on the lift.
Such a prat. Snakes do climb. I don't know about 20 stories high, but I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
Just keep your fly screens closed. Right, this one makes me laugh. Snakes. How do you deal with them? Right, let's first of all tell people how you deal with them.
I try and pick them up with a broomstick.
Yeah, only if they're in the house area. If they're just on the rest of the land, it's fine.
Yeah, you just leave them.
Yeah, you stay well away. That's the best thing to do, stay well back.
Yeah, and if you do come across a snake, just stand still and they will do their thing and leave you alone.
Yeah. Now, the reason I laugh about this one is how do I handle a snake when I'm on my own?
She normally screams, phones me, and then phones the snake catcher.
I did not call you.
Oh, she puts drum and bass on.
I played drum and bass for the snake because I thought that the vibrations would scare it away. In fact, this was not the case.
No.
The case was that I actually welcomed the snake in with a drum and bass party,
With a mating dance.
which then came up into our roof. And then I had to call the snake catcher out, who snake catchers, by the way, are very eccentric characters. And he and I then filmed a video together on the lawn with the snake.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to play that now. It was so funny. So yeah, personally, I play drum and bass for snakes.
Yeah. Maybe a bit of reggae next time.
Yeah, maybe that would have deterred it.
A bit of trance.
Doof, 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 doof. They're not supposed to like vibrations, but clearly this one loved it. Well, I don't know that it was because of the drum and bass, but it certainly did not deter him. And he ended up coming up the house, up the drain, into the roof.
Yeah.
So that is how I handle a snake.
And if you love this video, try out this one.